Hi, and welcome to the 10-minute book talk where three best-selling authors talk all things bookish with you for 10 short and sweet minutes. I'm Rachel Linden, and I'm joined by Katherine Reay and Marie Bostwick today. And today we have something really fun and special. We are celebrating a birthday, and we are celebrating the birthday of Marie's newest book, The Restoration of Celia Fairchild. It turns 1 this month, this week, this month. And I love this book. I read a lot of books. I read a lot of books professionally, but I super enjoyed this one enough that I put it on the bookshelves prominently in my guest room so that all guests have a chance to enjoy Celia as well. It's just got all the good stuff. It's got based in Charleston. It's about a woman rebuilding her life. It's about a woman restoring the house of a hoarder aunt that she's inherited. And there's a dog. There are this fabulous ensemble cast of characters. And it's got a feel-good ending, which I'm a huge sucker for. So happy birthday, Celia. And we're going to ask Marie a couple questions about this delightful story.
You bet. Okay, so I want to know, first of all, this book has 755-star reviews on Amazon. So right there, good on you. Good on Cecilia. So that's fantastic. But what I want to ask you is, people are chomping this thing up like chocolate. Is it community? Is it Celia herself? I'm tripping over her name. What do you think is drawing people to this story right now?
Well, first of all, I want to say it's 754 and 5-star reviews, but most of them are. But I'm
going with 5 stars still. Those are all good.
My interpretation.
People are really, really liking the book. I think this is a book that we need right now. I think we need a book that helps us acknowledge that we're all in a season of kind of new beginnings and finding our way, but we need something where we know it's going to be okay. And I think that's one of the great things about this book is that even though Celia goes through some very, very difficult times, she never really totally loses her sense of humor and her ability to laugh at herself in a way. And I think that's important. That is what sees me through dark and difficult times, is the ability to laugh. And so I think that's a very important thing. I think it's a great setting too. And I do think it's a great ensemble cast of characters who, somebody who isn't me, who was very smart, once said that all great stories are about people becoming a family. And that's what this is about. This is a book about people becoming a family. The other thing I think is that Celia is somebody we can identify with almost from the beginning. She is a syndicated advice columnist who has phenomenal insight into everybody's problems except her own. Personally, I feel like this is everybody's story, right?
I can solve everybody's problems, but never my own.
I can solve everyone's problems, right? I love to sit down with friends, and I'm that person who, people always tell me their stuff. They just do. It's been that way my whole life. And I'll listen for 5 minutes, and I give them a very succinct plan for how to solve that problem. Then I always feel like I should turn around and say, okay, now you do me. So that's just normal. So I just think there's a lot that's identifiable in this. We see ourselves in Celia's story because we are, in fact, all of us in need of restoration all the time.
All the time.
Okay, that just perfectly segued into the question that I have. So restoration is a major theme in this story. It's in the title, it's woven through. And I noticed when I was reading this that there's restoration, there's this physical restoration of the house, there's this restoration of Celia's life, but also it's an ensemble cast and they're great. I love community. I love books about community. And it's about her building community and becoming a family in Charleston in this amazing historical setting. But it's really about the restoration of a lot of different people. So it's not just a few restoration, there's these themes of restoration. So talk a little bit about that. Why restoration and why did you put it in there?
Right. Well, Charleston as a setting really kind of drove some of that. I am not from Charleston. I have lived in the South before, and I have visited Charleston a million times, and so many people have been like, well, if you're not there, why would you write about Charleston? Anybody who's ever visited Charleston, if you're a writer, how could you not write about Charleston?
Because it's amazing. It's
an amazing city. But Charleston has always been at the forefront of the historical restoration movement. So there is this theme of Celia, who is physically restoring, a home while she is restoring herself. And restoring and it's not just restoration, it's historical restoration. Celia has to go back and look at her own history. She has to look at it, however, with new eyes. You know, we experience our childhoods as, in fact, children, and sometimes we're scarred by those experiences. But there comes a point in our life when we as adults need to bring our adult brains and perspective back to our childhood. And I think this sometimes allows us to be more forgiving, more understanding, and also helps us maybe to release some of the pain, because we can look at the people who were actors in our lives and see what they might have been going through in a more sympathetic way. So that's very much part of Celia's restoration, is really a historic restoration by looking at her personal history. But you're right, every single character in here is all going through some sort of restoration. They each have their own individual character arc, which is something I really love to do. I love to bring those stories together under one umbrella of a theme. And in this case, you know, whether it is a young lady who's been having a difficult time with her mother, who is like restoring their relationship, their mother-daughter relationship, which was damaged. Her mother, who is really suffering after being widowed and feeling like the weight of the world is on her in such a way that she's hardly even had a chance to grieve. Another woman who is like struggling with trying to restore herself in a time of life when age is impinging upon her. And what does that look like? One of Celia's old friends, Polly, who's a great person in the character in the book, who is trying to like create a new life for herself, being an entrepreneur, and it's not going very well. So all of these characters are going to have their restoration, and hopefully in some way, although not always the way we expect, find their happy ending and find that family that they need at the core of their beings in ways they may not even realize.
Love it.
And
so
love it.
if you love dogs, if you love people, if you love Charleston, if you love restoration shows, if you love happy endings, you are going to, as Katherine said, eat this book like chocolate. It's delightful. So happy birthday to Celia. And we have one last question.
Oh, wait, no. Oh, no, before we go, I want, before we were talking, there's
Katherine, you get the last question, but I get the next last question.
You get this one.
I get this one. So Rachel, I am not the only one celebrating things these days. I understand something exciting happened at your house today. What was it?
We got a fun little box in the mail, and we thought it was a dog harness because we're getting a puppy, but it isn't. It was the Advanced Reader Coffee Club, the Magic of Lemon Drop Pie.
Yay. It's beautiful as I thought it would be.
I am obsessed with this cover, and there's something so special and wonderful about getting these copies. When you hold the real book in your hands and you open it, you look at these words. First of all, there's a feeling of like, well, that's what it says now. Can't change it. It is what it is. That ship has sailed. But also, it feels real and it's amazing. So these copies will go out to booksellers, reviewers. It isn't out in the world yet until August, but select people start getting it. And it's just exciting because it's the next step in it coming into readers' hands and coming into the world. And to hold it in my own hands is so satisfying and gratifying. So it's not a birthday for it, but it's like a baby shower.
Baby shower. As your friends, do we get, I'm just saying, I mean, you might want to drop some copies off for your buddies.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
I know you're shipping for mine, but still.
You can talk me into that. Anyway, so we're celebrating all the wonderful things about the books we love and the stories we love and getting them into readers' hands today.
Oh,
and now, okay, Katherine gets the last question.
Okay, last question, because we ask everybody. Marie, what is bringing you joy right now?
Oh, this is exciting.
It took you a moment.
No, it is exciting. So my mother and I bought a 24-game season ticket to our AAA baseball team.
So fun.
Today is in April. We're picking up our tickets next week. And when we pick up our tickets, there will be free hot dogs and the anticipation of lots of baseball to come because it is because the minor leagues is still playing. I know there's, no matter what happens with the majors, the minors are pretty much still playing. So a whole summer of baseball, that is what is making
amazing. When we
I love it. So Americana.
In Austin, they opened a AAA team when we lived there. It's still there, but it was so fun because the stadiums aren't huge. They're a little more intimate and they're so fun. You're going to love that.
Oh no, I love baseball. One of the things, I mean, I love baseball because it's outdoors and when you go all the time. And the other thing is you can knit and watch baseball at the same time, and I do. So there's
All right. Well, the thing that's bringing me joy is that we are adopting a puppy and I go and pick it up next week. And I feel like it's kind of like prepping for a baby, which I've already done twice, but this is different. And so I'm reading the manuals and I'm talking to people and I'm amassing supplies and I'm getting ready to be a puppy mom. And I'm so excited. So that's bringing me joy and a little bit of trepidation, but mostly joy.
Yay!
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us at the 10-minute book talk, where we talk for 10 short and sweet minutes about all things bookish. And join us next week for more bookish fun. Bye.
Thank you.